Now let's talk about two prophets of our era, messengers of God who have shared their dreams and visions that specifically point to the rapture of believers in Christ and the 7-year tribulation, which culminates in Christ ruling the earth for 1,000 years, known as the Millennial Kingdom. Pastor Philip Barnett had a dream years ago that he couldn't fully remember, but in 2007, he experienced the same dream again and finally understood it. This dream is known as the Azovmena Prophecy, Part 1. Then, on November 11, 2011, he received another dream, known as the Azovmena Prophecy, Part 2.
In the first Azovmena Prophecy, Pastor Barnett saw 8 massive nuclear rockets, shaped like mountains, frozen in place. These rockets represented a future conflict between the United States and a reformed Soviet Union, including Russia, Belarus, and eastern Ukraine. The prophecy warns of a devastating war, where American nuclear missiles will strike eastern Ukraine, destroying cities like Kiev, Sumy, Kharkiv, and Odessa. The prophecy also predicted 2 major evacuations from Kiev. The first evacuation, which Pastor Barnett foresaw, actually happened in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. The second evacuation, he says, will happen just before a major nuclear conflict. After this second evacuation, the US will strike first, wiping out much of Russia's army in eastern Ukraine. In retaliation, Russia will launch nuclear missiles at the United States, destroying major cities such as Chicago, Illinois; Milwaukee, Wisconsin; Cleveland, Ohio; St. Louis, Missouri; Memphis, Tennessee; Nashville, Tennessee; New Orleans, Louisiana; Little Rock, Arkansas; Denver, Colorado; Albuquerque, New Mexico; Baltimore, Maryland; Washington, D.C., New York City, New York. Pastor Barnett was very clear that when God gave him these visions, he was instructed not to add or take away any words. God emphasized the importance of delivering the message exactly as it was given, and he promised to reveal even more if Pastor Barnett remained faithful to this command. On November 11, 2011, Barnett received the second part of the Azovmena Prophecy. This second part covers events that occur in the middle of the tribulation period, a time of unprecedented chaos and destruction.
According to this prophecy, World War III, involving a nuclear exchange, will take place on November 11, though the exact year remains unknown. This conflict will see an alliance of nations, Russia, Germany, and others, invading Israel, leading to widespread devastation. In the midst of this darkness, however, God promises a great revival. Millions of people will come to Christ during the tribulation, even as the Antichrist rises to power and brings destruction upon Israel and other nations. The Antichrist will invade Jerusalem, set up his image in the newly built temple, and attempt to assert his dominion over the world. But God has a plan. He will protect a remnant of believers in places like Ukraine, Switzerland, and beyond. This prophecy is specific. It mentions the cities and nations that will be affected, including Ukraine, where a revival will take place among the Orthodox Church, even as eastern Ukraine is destroyed in the nuclear war; Russia, where a remnant of believers will resist the Antichrist alongside Ukrainian believers; Switzerland, which will stand as a bastion against the Antichrist's forces, offering refuge to Christians fleeing from across Europe; the United States, where specific states like Alabama, Texas, and Oklahoma will serve as places of refuge during the tribulation. After the rapture, millions will be saved, and these believers will play a crucial role in resisting the Antichrist and his forces. The message is clear: God is in control, and He is preparing His people for the times ahead. We are urged to stay vigilant, to be spiritually prepared, and to remain faithful, knowing that God will protect and guide His remnant through the tribulation. When Barnett started preaching about the prophecy in 2007, many thought he was crazy. He wasn't well received and even received death threats. Most people believed that Russia would never invade Ukraine. However, when Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, people began to take him more seriously. By the time Kiev was evacuated in 2022, everyone took him seriously. Many saw the writing on the wall and left Ukraine for safety. Now, we are anticipating the next evacuation, which is expected to spark the nuclear bombing of eastern Ukraine. In Daniel 5, we read that a hand appeared and wrote on the wall, Tekel, a parson, meaning to the prophecy name Azovmena. God gave Daniel the interpretation for Belshazzar, the son of Nebuchadnezzar and the new ruler of Babylon. This is the interpretation of each word. Mean, God has numbered your kingdom, and finished it. Tekel, you have been weighed in the balances, and found wanting. Perez, your kingdom has been divided, and given to the Medes and Persians. The word Perez has the same meaning as a parson, the only difference is that Perez is Arabic. In the same way, God told Pastor Barnett to write down the letters Azovmena. After he did that, he remembered the writing on the wall in Daniel, opened his Bible, and started reading that very verse. God then interpreted the Azovmena Prophecy to Pastor Barnett, which you have now heard. There is more to it, and you can look online for additional details. However, I've pulled out the most important parts for you.
This wraps up part 1 of our 2-part series on the prophecies of Pastors Philip Barnett and William Branham. Be sure to check back early this week for part 2, where we'll dive deep into William Branham's visions and their significance. Thank you for watching another random video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Have a blessed day.